Welcome to the Mixtape series, presented by the Back in Action podcast. You'll notice across the show that certain topics keep coming up, but from a slightly different angle. The Mixtape series brings them all together. Each mixtape is a curated compilation of sound bites from across the show, where Dr. John Lavelle, Coach Dusty Holden, and Coach Josh Bunch bring their expertise, do a little myth busting, and genuinely rewire the way you think about pain, movement, and what your body is actually capable of. If every full-length episode is like a full-body workout for your brain, the Mixtape series brings you a hyper-targeted burnout set. Shorter episodes, a lot of punch. And if something jumps out and you want to hear more, every mic drop moment is linked to the original episode down in the description below. So, let's get mixing.
After the age of 40, I mean,
you lose 1%
muscle
of
degeneration.
muscle mass a year is the average.
Yeah.
So the good thing is with muscles, we can fight against time.
Say that again.
Which one?
After the age,
after age 40, you lose 1% of your muscle mass per year. But you don't have to if you're training and strength training.
It's when your body starts aging and you start feeling it. Okay. I mean, if we talk about muscles in your 30s, but definitely in your 40s, you start getting sarcopenia, which is loss of muscle mass. And we've talked in prior podcasts that you can lose up to 1 to 2% of your muscle mass per year. So if we just focus on skeletal muscle, which is what I love, because that controls so much of our body. So if you lose that skeletal muscle mass, well then you're going to start getting cardiac issues because your cardiac is a muscle. It's the cardiac muscle, not skeletal muscle. But if you lose the skeletal muscle, then it's not contracting. You're not pumping the blood flow, so you can get higher blood pressure, which then can affect the heart. So you're getting cardiac issues. You can start getting pulmonary issues if you're not working out, strengthening the skeletal muscle. You're not getting as good expansion and with the lung function, so you're not getting as good of oxygenation. With loss of skeletal muscle mass, you're getting insulin resistance. So if you have more muscle cells and more muscle, that's what soaks up that glucose when you eat a meal. So if when you eat, you're just vacuuming up that glucose because your muscles are strong and healthy and you keep growing those muscles, you have more receptors, so more glucose taken in, so less glucose in the bloodstream. So it's not taken up by the fat cells and you get as much insulin spike. That's where it's huge with decreasing insulin resistance. And then you're getting better bone health. Every time you contract those muscles, it's pulling on the bone. You're preventing osteopenia because when you pull on the bone releases osteoblast cells that start to build new bone. So you can go on and on with the benefits of skeletal muscle. I mean, it is, I would say, the most important organ in our body because it controls so much.
In healthcare, from my perspective, fitness is always thought of, working out, going to the gym because you're trying to accomplish a goal. I want to be a better athlete, better baseball player, better football player, or I'm training for this competition. And it's slowly changing, but fitness needs to be thought more of that's how you prevent chronic illness, whether it's chronic back pain, heart disease, obesity, cancer.
I'm 40, but I look like a 35-year-old on the inside. Like you hear a lot of that today. Does avoidance accelerate aging?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so if I'm 40 and I'm not doing anything, I'll come back and be like, man, I'm 50 on the
And that's
inside.
a big thing in health right now is looking at longevity. You see all these people, if you're online, talking about longevity, living forever, don't die. That's all good. I'm happy with dying, but I just want to live while I'm here to do everything I want to do. So if you're avoiding things, you're going to age a lot faster.
Okay.
Because if you're avoiding things, one, you're going to get decreased blood flow. So you're going to have decreased, health to your muscle tissue and all your organs. Mm-hmm. I think skeletal muscle is so crucial for longevity and health in general and maintaining function. I think it's one of the biggest things we're starting to focus more on, but hasn't really been a focus as an organ to preserve as we get older. And it's so crucial. The benefits of healthy skeletal muscle tissue, as we've just alluded to, just with functionality, balance, being able to move and decreasing pain, but also the host of benefits, decreasing inflammation if your skeletal muscle is healthy. If you're exercising and building that skeletal muscle, you're going to have better vasculature, you're going to get better blood flow. You're going to get that, as I just mentioned, that decreased cytokines or inflammation. You're going to have decreased insulin resistance, so you're going to have better, blood sugar control, less fat tissue buildup.
Yeah. And then eventually could be talk about dementia.
Absolutely.
Like
so
in the presence of too much
100%.
sugar.
If you're exercising, there's brain-derived growth neutrophilic growth factor.
Yep, BDFN.
So if you're exercising, that helps with neuronal pathways, grow new neuronal pathways in the brain. You're definitely going to decrease dementia symptoms.
Yeah, and that's from just exercising regularly.
100%.
And we've talked about this before. I think that is the WHO, is that 2 resistance sessions at 40 minutes?
Yeah, I think
Is that what they're at? We usually
2 or
recommend something
45
close
or
to
something.
4.
If at the very least, and I think Dusty would say at very least 3, but I think at a minimum, and this is usually what I tell my patients, give me 2, especially if they've never done anything and they're still working, give me 2 days a week of 30 minutes where you're doing some strength training. And let's start there.
I think the battle really is between the ears, though, and it's like what you were talking about. It's why we hear so many excuses. It's like, well, I've got this injury, or I've been out this long. The list just it goes on and on and on of all the reasons why you can't do something.
And really, those excuses should be the reasons to make you go do it.
I think it's all the more. It's like every one of those things that you just said.
That's why
it's another reason, to get in and to do it. So it's really just reframing the way that we approach, I think, fitness.
Is once you're 40, let's say you've been training since you were pre-high school. How do you deal with the changes that you're probably not squatting as much as you were?
That's hard.
How do you deal with that? So if you're the person that doesn't see the numbers, they can't always go up forever.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
And you think you're going to be that guy that defies
That's right.
the odds.
At some point,
we all do.
You're not squatting 800 pounds anymore. So, what happens?
I think that's another thing about 40s is where you really start to have to embrace that.
That's right. Is that a good time to not? Obviously, you don't chase the number, the weight on the barbell as much. But is that the time to where you're really trying to, and instead of squatting with a belt, I squat without a belt. I squat without shoes. Instead of doing a step up, I do a crossover. Is this where the variety is what saves you there?
It is. I mean, and that's also what the fun part about it is. It's endless. And have fun with it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of freedom in when you finally lay that down. I fought that for several years of no, this is not going to happen. I'm going to PR that squat clean one more time.
Yep.
And then you just realize that there are numbers that you hit pre-40, and then there is this new life that you embrace post-40, and that is your new,
I like that.
your new PR,
Yeah, I like that.
And so that's what you're working off of those parameters now, and it's just because life isn't the same.
How dangerous is it to start when I'm 40 versus if I was just doing it throughout? Is there a more specific, if I jump right in, danger than there would be if I was younger?
I mean, how dangerous is it to start investing in an investment account in your 40s versus your 20s? Same thing. You're investing in yourself. So yes, it would be better to start in your 20s, but is it dangerous to start in the 40s? No. You're just going to...
It's less dangerous than in your 50s.
You're going to start banking that health so you live longer and healthier.
That's a wrap on today's mixtape from the Back in Action podcast. If you want to put what our hosts talk about on the show into action, they've created a program just for you. For just $15 a month, you can have Coach Dusty and Dr. John Lavelle in your ear, walking you through a step-by-step on-ramp back to movement, and that's through the Back in Action program. And here's the thing, phase 1 is only 4 weeks long, which means in 4 weeks from today, you could be feeling better in your body and getting back to doing the things you love. For more information on the Back in Action program or to get your invitation to access, go to thebackinactionpodcast.com.